I think my fiancée just told me she doesn't actually want to marry me. I don't even know how to start this. My fiancée Maddie and I have been together for 4 years, engaged for 8 months. Wedding is scheduled for 3 months from now at this gorgeous venue outside Chicago. Everything looks perfect from the outside. The photos on her Instagram are getting hundreds of likes. Everyone keeps saying we're couple goals. But something happened last week that I can't stop thinking about. For context, I'm a systems engineer at a logistics company here in Chicago. Decent salary, stable job, nothing flashy. Maddie works in marketing as an account manager. She's great at her job, super social, has this huge network of friends and colleagues. The wedding planning has been intense. Maddie had this very specific vision from day one. The venue alone cost more than I make in 4 months, but she loved it and I wanted her to be happy. Her parents contributed some, but I've covered probably 70% of the costs so far. I'm not complaining about that. I saved for years knowing this was coming. But between the venue, the photographer she insisted on, the designer she wants for her dress alterations, the upgraded catering package, and about 50 other small additions, we're pushing close to $80K total. Again, I was fine with it. This is supposed to be our day, right? I wanted her to have what she dreamed of. But about 3 weeks ago, I started feeling this weight. Not cold feet exactly, more like drowning. I'd come home from work and she'd immediately launch into wedding stuff. Did I call the DJ? Did I confirm the hotel block? What do I think about these centerpieces? I'd try to transition to something else, maybe talk about my day, or ask about hers beyond wedding logistics, and she'd circle back within 5 minutes. The financial pressure started getting to me too. I was looking at our accounts and realizing that after the wedding, we'd have maybe $8K left in savings. That's it. And we haven't even talked about the honeymoon yet. She wants Bora Bora, which isn't cheap. So last Thursday, I tried to have a conversation about it. Not to cancel anything or change plans, just to talk. To tell her I was feeling overwhelmed and maybe we could discuss adjusting a few things to take some pressure off. We were at the apartment going over seating charts. I said something like, "Hey, can we take a break from wedding stuff for a second? I need to talk to you about how I've been feeling." She looked annoyed immediately. "Ray, we have to finalize this seating chart by tomorrow. The venue needs it." "I know, but this is important. I've been really stressed about money and you're always stressed about money lately. It's our wedding. It's supposed to be expensive. I get that, but I'm just saying I'm feeling overwhelmed and I need us to." She cut me off. "What do you want me to do about it? You're the one who told me not to worry about the budget." I did say that, but things have added up more than I expected and I just want to talk about how we're both feeling. I'm feeling fine, Ray. I'm excited. I'm happy. Why do you always have to bring negativity into everything? That stung, but I tried to push through. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm trying to communicate that I'm struggling a little bit and I need support from you. She put down the seating chart and looked at me with this expression I'd never seen before. Frustration mixed with something else. Dismissal, maybe. "Ray, I don't want to hear about your emotions anymore." I just stared at her. She kept going. "Every conversation lately turns into you being overwhelmed or stressed or anxious about something. The wedding is happening. It's already planned. I'm not going to keep having these heavy emotional conversations every other day. I just can't." The room went completely silent. I felt like someone had punched me in the chest. "You don't want to hear about my emotions." Not the negative ones, no, not constantly. It's exhausting. I didn't know what to say. I just nodded and went back to looking at the seating chart like nothing happened. We finished it in silence, then I said I had some work emails to catch up on and went into the spare bedroom. I haven't brought up anything emotional since. When she asks how I'm doing, I say fine or good. When wedding decisions come up, I just agree with whatever she suggests. I show up to cake tastings and florist appointments with a smile. We took engagement photos last weekend and they came out great. She posted them yesterday with a caption about how lucky she is. But here's what I can't stop thinking about. If I can't share my emotions with my fiancé, the person I'm supposed to spend my life with, then what exactly are we building? She said she doesn't want to hear about the negative ones. But life has negative moments. Jobs get stressful, family members get sick, financial problems happen. If I can't talk to her about those things, if expressing worry or stress makes me exhausting to her, what happens when real problems show up? I keep trying to rationalize it. Wedding planning is stressful for everyone. Maybe she's just overwhelmed too and it came out wrong. Maybe after the wedding, things will go back to normal. But something in my gut says this isn't about the wedding. This is about who she is and what she needs from a partner. And maybe what she needs is someone who doesn't have emotions that require attention or support. I haven't told anyone about this. Not my sister, not my best friend Mike, nobody. From the outside, everything still looks perfect. I'm going through all the motions. But inside, I feel completely empty, like I'm planning a wedding to someone I don't actually know. Is this normal? Am I overreacting? Has anyone else experienced something like this during wedding planning and had it turn out okay? Update. I wasn't planning to update this soon, but something happened today that I need to process. So I took some of your advice and tried to bring it up one more time. Different approach, not during wedding planning time. Last Monday evening, we were just having dinner at home and I said something like, "Hey, I've been thinking about what you said last week about not wanting to hear my negative emotions. Can we talk about that?" She looked irritated immediately. "Ray, I thought we moved past that. We didn't really talk about it though. You said something that really hurt me and I think we need to. What do you want me to say? I'm sorry you're hurt, but I meant what I said. You've been bringing dark clouds into every conversation for weeks. I'm trying to plan the happiest day of our lives and you keep talking about money, stress, and feeling overwhelmed. It's a lot." I tried to stay calm. But that's normal relationship stuff. People share when they're stressed. That's what partners do. Not constantly, Ray. There's a difference between occasionally venting and making everything about your anxiety. I don't think I'm making everything about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. We're doing it right now. Can we just have one nice dinner without turning it into a therapy session? I stopped trying after that. We ate the rest of dinner making small talk about her coworker's baby shower and some show she's watching. I felt completely hollow, but here's the real reason I'm posting again. You know how sometimes the universe just drops something in your lap at the exact moment you need it? Wednesday morning, I got an email from a recruiter I spoke with like 4 months ago. One of those LinkedIn cold reach situations that I'd forgotten about. He said a company in Austin, Texas was looking for a senior systems engineer and my profile was exactly what they wanted. Would I be interested in a preliminary call? I almost deleted it. We're getting married in less than 3 months. This is obviously terrible timing, but something made me respond. Maybe spite. Maybe curiosity. Maybe just the fact that someone was expressing interest in what I do and what I'm capable of, which felt really good after weeks of feeling like an inconvenience in my own relationship. Had the preliminary call Friday afternoon while Maddie was at work. Went incredibly well. They asked about my experience with logistics systems and supply chain optimization, which is exactly my specialty. The recruiter said they'd fast-track me to the technical interview round if I was interested. I said yes. The actual interview was this morning, video call with their director of engineering and 2 senior team members. It went really, really well. We clicked. We had genuine conversation about system architecture challenges. I answered their technical questions solid. At the end, the director said, "I'm not supposed to say this before we do official reviews, but you're exactly what we're looking for. Expect to hear from us soon." 4 hours later, the recruiter called. They're offering me the position, senior systems engineer. The salary is 40% higher than what I make now, 40%, plus a signing bonus, full relocation assistance, and better benefits than I currently have. Austin, Texas. 1,100 miles from Chicago. I sat there staring at the offer letter for probably 20 minutes. This is a career-changing opportunity. The kind of thing you don't say no to. The team is great. The work is exactly what I want to be doing. The salary means I could rebuild my savings in a year instead of 5. But we're getting married in 3 months. In Chicago. With a venue locked in and deposits everywhere. So tonight I tried to bring it up with Maddie. I didn't mention that I'd already done interviews or gotten an offer. I just tested the waters. We were on the couch. She was scrolling through Instagram looking at wedding stuff. I said, hypothetically, how would you feel about moving out of Chicago at some point? She didn't even look up. What do you mean at some point? Just in general. Like if a really good career opportunity came up somewhere else. Now she looked up. Ray, we live here, my job is here, my friends are here, my family is 45 minutes away, your family is in the suburbs, our whole life is here. I know, but people move for careers all the time, it's just a hypothetical. Is this hypothetical, or are you actually talking about something specific? I hesitated. Just thinking about long-term plans. She went back to her phone. Well, I have zero interest in moving. I've planned my whole life around being in Chicago. We can talk about hypotheticals after the wedding if you want, but right now we have real things to focus on. Speaking of which, did you confirm with your groomsmen about the suit fittings? I confirmed I had. She went back to Instagram. Conversation over. So now I'm sitting here at 11 p.m. in the spare bedroom with this offer letter open on my laptop. 6-figure salary, dream job, amazing team. In a city where neither of us knows anyone, and she's already said she has zero interest in going to. If I turn this down for the wedding, I resent her. If I push for this and try to convince her, she resents me. But here's what I keep coming back to. She told me she doesn't want to hear about my emotions. She shut down a hypothetical conversation about my career in about 90 seconds. She's made it clear that her plans, her vision, her life setup takes priority, and anything that might disrupt it, even a conversation, is unwelcome. I've been trying to figure out if I'm being selfish. But the more I think about it, the more I realize this isn't about the job. It's about the fact that my partner doesn't want to hear about things that are important to me if they're inconvenient to her. What kind of marriage is that? Some of you in the last post said I should postpone the wedding. I thought that was extreme. Now I'm wondering if you were right. I have to respond to this offer by Monday. They need to know if I'm accepting or declining. I don't know what I'm going to do. Update 2. I need to write this down while it's still fresh because what just happened feels completely surreal. I accepted the job, and I'm moving to Austin, but Maddie doesn't know yet. Let me back up and explain because I know how this sounds. After my last post, I spent the entire weekend thinking, reading every single comment. Sunday night, I made a decision. I was going to sit Maddie down Monday morning and have the actual full conversation. Tell her about the offer. Tell her how serious I am about considering it. Tell her we need to really talk about our communication issues and what we both need from this relationship before we get married. I was ready. I had mentally prepared. I knew it was going to be rough, but it needed to happen. Monday morning comes. We're both getting ready for work and she's in a good mood, chatting about her friend's engagement party this weekend, asking if I remembered to RSVP. Perfect time, right? Calm, casual setting. I said, hey, before we both leave for work, I need to talk to you about something important. She was putting on earrings, checking her phone. Can it wait? I have a meeting I need to prep for. It's really important. It's about that hypothetical I brought up last week. She turned around and I could see her physically brace herself. Ray, please don't do this right now. Maddie, I have a job offer in Austin, Texas. Senior position, significant raise. I need to give them an answer and we need to talk about no, just like that. No, you don't want to talk about it, or no, we're not moving to Austin. No, you're not taking a job in Texas. No, we're not having this conversation 3 months before our wedding. No. I stood there kind of stunned. I'm not saying we have to move. I'm just saying we need to discuss it, and there's nothing to discuss. I'm not moving. I've told you that. My entire life is here. What part of that don't you understand? But this is my career we're talking about. This is. Your career is fine here. You have a good job. We're about to get married. Why are you trying to blow up our entire life? I'm not trying to blow anything up. I'm trying to talk to my fiancée about an opportunity, and I'm telling you it's not happening. Her voice had gone up several notches. God, Ray, do you have any idea how selfish this is? We have $80,000 worth of deposits and plans and people flying in from across the country, and you want to just, what? Cancel everything. Move to Texas. Are you out of your mind? I haven't said we should cancel. Then what are you saying? Because it sounds like you're trying to make me choose between you and my entire life. I'm trying to make a decision together about our future. Our future is here. In Chicago, getting married in 3 months. That's the plan. That's what we agreed to. You don't just get to change everything because some random company offered you more money. I felt something shift in that moment, something cold and final settling into place. So my career doesn't matter, I said quietly. My feelings about this don't matter. What I want doesn't factor in. That's not what I said. That's exactly what you said. She grabbed her bag. I can't do this right now. I have to go to work. We'll talk about this later when you're being rational. When I'm being rational. Like I'm the one who's hysterical. She left. Door closed a little too hard. I stood there in our apartment for probably 10 minutes just processing, and that's when I made the decision. I called the Austin company back and accepted the offer. Start date in 3 weeks. Then I started making other calls. I called the wedding venue, explained there was a family emergency and we needed to cancel. They were sympathetic but firm. Deposit was non-refundable. $12,000 gone. The contract was in my name, so it was my call to make. Done. I called my bank and set up a new account, individual, not joint. Transferred exactly half of our shared savings into it. The other half stayed for her. I called a moving company in Austin and hired them for next Wednesday. Maddie has a full day of back-to-back virtual meetings scheduled that day. She'll be locked in her home office from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I started going through the apartment, mentally cataloging what's mine. Most of the furniture is hers or stuff she picked out. I don't care about taking it. I'm taking my clothes, my books, my computer equipment, my personal stuff. Some tools from the garage, my bike. That's basically it. Today I wrote her a letter, printed it, put it in an envelope. It's sitting in my desk drawer. I've rewritten it 4 times. Here's the final version, or close to it. Maddie, I'm sorry to do this in a letter, but given our last several conversations, I don't think talking in person would go any differently. I've accepted the position in Austin and I'm moving there. The wedding is canceled. I've handled the venue and I'll send you a list of other vendors you'll need to contact. I've split our savings 50-50 and removed myself from the joint account. I need you to understand something. This isn't about the job. This is about the fact that you told me you don't want to hear about my emotions, that you shut down any conversation that might inconvenience your plans, that when I tried to discuss a major career opportunity, you refused to even consider it. I can't marry someone who sees my feelings as a burden and my aspirations as a threat to their comfort. I've tried for weeks to communicate with you, and every time I'm met with dismissal or anger. You've made it clear that what you want from a partner is someone who doesn't rock the boat, doesn't have needs, doesn't bring problems. That's not a partnership. That's not marriage. I hope you find someone who fits into the perfect life you've planned, but it's not me. Ray. Wednesday, the movers come. Wednesday afternoon, I drive to Austin. By the time Maddie finishes her meetings and walks out of her office, I'll be gone. Is this cowardly? Maybe. Is it extreme? Probably. Am I going to do it anyway? Yes. She told me if I couldn't handle it, maybe we shouldn't get married, so I'm taking her advice. 3 more days till Wednesday. I've been going through the motions perfectly, smiled for photos she took, talked about honeymoon ideas. She thinks everything is fine now because I stopped bringing up drama. Meanwhile, I'm packing boxes when she's at work and storing them in my trunk. I'll post one more update after it's done, if I'm still alive and haven't chickened out. Wish me luck. Final update, well, I did it. I'm in Austin. And honestly, I'm okay. Let me tell you how it actually went down, because it was somehow both exactly what I expected and completely surreal. Wednesday morning, everything went according to plan. Maddie's meeting started at 9 a.m. sharp. She was in her home office with the door closed, laptop and coffee, in full work mode. I heard her greeting her team on the video call as the movers knocked on the door. The moving company I hired was incredible. I'd already packed everything in boxes and labeled them, so it was just a matter of loading. It took about 3 hours. Professional, quiet, efficient. I left the letter on the kitchen counter, right where she'd see it when she came out for lunch. Then I took my keys off the ring, left them next to the letter, and walked out. The drive to Austin took about 18 hours with stops. I spent most of it listening to podcasts and trying not to think too hard. My phone was on silent. I knew what was coming. I got to my temporary apartment in Austin around 9 p.m. The company had set up corporate housing for my first month while I find a permanent place. Basic furnished apartment, but clean and quiet. I plugged in my phone to charge it and took a shower. When I finally looked at my phone around 10 p.m., I had 43 missed calls from Maddie, 27 text messages from her, 8 calls from her mom, 5 calls from her sister, 12 messages from her best friend calling me every name in the book, and about 30 notifications from various mutual friends. The texts from Maddie started around 2 p.m. when she must have come out for lunch. What the hell is this letter? Call me right now. Ray, where are you? Your stuff is gone. Did you seriously move out while I was working? How could you do this, you freaking coward? You didn't even have the balls to tell me to my face. My mom is calling the venue they said you canceled. You've been planning this. Everyone is calling me asking what happened. I have to tell everyone the wedding is off. Do you have any idea how humiliating this is? I hope you're happy ruining my life. The messages from her friends were similar, lots of "how could you do this to her? You're a coward. You're going to regret this," that kind of thing. I turned off my phone and went asleep, best sleep I'd had in weeks. The next morning I started my new job, and it's amazing. The team is great, the work is challenging in a good way, the office culture is collaborative. My boss actually asks how I'm doing and means it. I found a great apartment in a neighborhood I really like, and I've been exploring the city. I'm meeting new people. I joined a climbing gym. Last weekend I went to a barbecue place that some locals recommended, and it was incredible. Small things, but they matter. As for the aftermath back in Chicago, I called my mom after the first day of silence and explained everything. She wasn't surprised. She said, "Honey, I was worried you were going to go through with it. You haven't seemed happy in months." Turns out my family had noticed even when I thought I was hiding it well. My best friend Mike called me a couple days after. He was more direct. "Dude, I'm glad you left. She was kind of awful to you and none of us knew how to say it." That was validating in a weird way. Maddie's family, predictably, thinks I'm the devil. Her mom left me a voicemail saying I destroyed her daughter's dreams, and I should be ashamed. Her dad apparently wants to sue me for the wedding costs, though his lawyer brother told him there's no case. I paid for most of it anyway. Some mutual friends have taken Maddie's side. They see the situation as guy gets cold feet and abandons fiancée 3 months before wedding. A few have reached out privately to say they understand why I left. Most are just staying out of it entirely. Maddie herself called me about a week ago from a different number when she realized I'd blocked her. "You owe me an explanation," she started. "I gave you one. In the letter." "That letter was bullshit. You didn't leave because of communication problems. You left because you wanted to take a job and I said no. I left because you told me you don't want to hear about my emotions and then proved it by refusing to even discuss my career. The job was just the catalyst. So you blew up our entire relationship because I was stressed about the wedding and said some things I didn't mean. You meant them. And even if you didn't, the fact that that's where your mind goes when you're stressed tells me everything I need to know." She was quiet for a moment. "Then I needed you. I needed a partner to help me plan this wedding and you just checked out and then you ran away. You didn't need a partner, you needed an assistant who didn't have opinions or feelings. That's not fair. Maybe not, but it's how I felt, and you made it clear you didn't want to hear about it." She hung up on me, haven't heard from her since, so that's where things stand. I'm 31 years old, starting over in a new city, single again. And yeah, it's scary, but it's also exciting. I haven't thought much about Maddie anymore. I'm exploring a new place. I'm building a life that's actually mine. Thanks to everyone who commented on my posts and gave me reality checks when I needed them. I'm doing okay. Really.